Kung Fu and Coffee.
Hello, welcome to Kung Fu and Coffee. I'm D. Lance Burton, your host. It occurred to me that most of you have probably never visited the place where I live, Circle County, and in lieu of you actually visiting, which the government doesn't recommend, I'll tell you something about it, something about where I live, to give you some idea of the place where I'm coming from. Circle County, there's not much going on. Okay, we got about one whole block of excitement, and it's true what they say about Main Street America, right? It's full of potholes. Well, in between those potholes, you'll find the Rainbow Cafe, so named, of course, for the paint factory where I work every day. Well, if you go in the Rainbow Cafe, you'll meet the waitress, Minka. Nice, she's nice. Not overly social, but she will fill your cup if you so desire. Now, before you leave the Rainbow Cafe, you should go in the bathroom. Not for the usual reasons, but I swear, not lying, there's a Rembrandt in there. Well, that gives you the picture of Circle County, I think. So let's talk about today's movie. Today's movie is The Clones of Bruce Lee. And I think this movie was a little bit ahead of its time in terms of its technological focus, right? Because you remember about 5 years ago when the cloning business was front page news every day, right? At first they cloned the sheep, and that was, everybody got excited about the sheep, I think Dolly, right? And then, as a follow-up, they made an atomic copy, an exact nuclear reproduction of a sock. Everybody, wow, a sock, right? And this poor black lefty suddenly found himself squared. Right? And everybody said, this is the future, Star Trek has arrived, and we're going to beam people up, or at least beam up their socks. Well, I don't have to tell you that Star Trek didn't happen, and it's one more reason that I think science is a total tease, right? So while I curse all forms of empirical measurement, why don't we see the bits together? Okay, a brief summary will suffice here. Bruce Lee dies, which if you think about it is pretty much the necessary premise for all movies like this, because if Bruce Lee were alive, then he'd probably rain hell on any filmmaker who used his likeness without consent. Anyway, a scientist named Professor Lucas makes 3 Bruces where before there was one. So they train, and after training with Bolo, one Bruce is sent to pose as an actor to stop the evil gangster film producer Chilo from smuggling gold. And after that, Bruce 2 and Bruce 3 go to Thailand to stop Dr. Nye. Now, Dr. Nye is attempting to conquer the world with his army of metal men. Metal men? Really? Now, before all that, Bruce goes to the beach. Okay. Finally, Professor Lucas goes crazy, forcing his Bruces to fight each other in what I affectionately call a Bruce-off. And there are efforts to inject levity into the final fight in line with the trend of the late 70s, but it's all pretty Spartan in line with the trend of cheap Bruceploitation movies. At least you get some wonderful Thailand scenery, but I'm not talking about Phuket. I gotta say, I don't really care for the beach. I mean, living where I do, where there isn't ocean, that's a good thing. And salt water is bad for your brain cells anyway. I feel fortunate that I was born where I was, which is the armpit of nowhere, where the closest thing to a shark is a cow. It's a 50-story Connect 4 game. You can tell Epstein that I won't join, and I don't care if Paul and John want to get rid of Ringo. My band, the Shaggy Rags, we're going to be huge. Hey, it's Falmont's Go-Go Pad. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. What flavor would you like? Red flavor or death flavor? Bruce is riding high into the danger zone. Cordless phones, the future is now. Hey, I like your sunglasses. I'm so brilliant. Today I have 3 wives. Tomorrow I'll have 2 wives. Oh man, just one more game of Civilization. I can conquer France if I max out my tech tree. Do metal men listen to Metal Machine music? Hamburgers. You know, it's a breakthrough. Dr. Lucas has perfected the thinking cap. You tell him Johnny Bruce Lee Fontaine doesn't get that part. Now get the heck out of here. I really value our friendship, Bruce. Because we can be open with each other. Openness is important in any relationship. I agree. Let's go. Oh, right in the Achilles heel. Ha, cure for cancer, and I won't share it with anyone. Ha 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 ha. It's over now. Drink your big black cow. This was the point where I was going to interject a few interesting facts about this monument, but I lost my notes. Let's move on. I believe there's an old Greek word that fits the resolution of all this Metal Man mash-em-up, and that word is lame. I think it means God in the lame. Now the winner of my Bruce mashup will receive 5 tickets, which can be redeemed for Plastic Spider or Chinese Finger Trap. Okay, welcome back guys. That was not a great movie. Lots of fighting, but not really that inspiring. And 3 Bruces is not necessarily better than 1. I think we've learned that today. Some structural problems. What with the first part about the gold smuggling on the movie set, and then suddenly we're in Thailand. There's metal men. Okay, there's this crazy mad scientist, you know. And I think keeping in mind the theme for today, I think this movie could possibly benefit from some genetic restructuring of itself. Okay, for these reasons I have to give this movie 2.5 beans out of a total of 4 beans. Did you see the Metal Men? I wonder what kind of paint was that anyway. Well anyway, my cup is dwindling to a half shadow of its former self, and that's all for today guys, so cheers. You know, I could clone Valerie, but then I would face the potential for a repeat of history. You know, wherein Valerie version 2.0 rejects me like the first Valerie did. And Valerie, you know, she's beautiful, but she's perfect, but you know, for these reasons she tends to be a little narcissistic, you know, and I think that a clone of herself could potentially push her over the edge. Like if you imagined the 2 Valeries living together in the same apartment, and then Mallory, you know, Mallory, who's Valerie's roommate. If there were 2 Valeries, then Mallory would have to move out, right? And I think it'd be unhealthy for everybody, all parties involved. Today's show is brought to you by Ma's Cup. Ma's Cup. It brings back memories of Ma. Hey, what's wrong with you? You're in the wrong job. Why haven't you met a nice girl? Hey, I'm still looking. Get off my back. I can't live here anymore. I hate you. Ma. Here's the longest person to realize the work with all the soft middle of this house. You know, it's so